The fear of other people's opinions, probably the one thing that will hold the average person back from taking that step into the unknown. It's easy for people to stand there and say, oh, I don't care about other people's opinion, but they do. 99.9% of people I've ever come across, they say that, but they do. And that's rooted in nature, you know, survival mechanism, whatever. So you can't just easily overcome it. You just have to understand that the opinion of other people is as meaningless as your opinion of them. People are conditioned to think and act in certain ways. They're not true. They're just ideas that they've probably picked up through society and culture and through other people. Very few people actually know how to think properly. So when you viscerally understand this and not just intellectually understand it, the opinion of other people just becomes meaningless to you. But if you just simply say, oh, I don't care about what other people think, you're bullshitting yourself and you're bullshitting everybody else as well. Other people's life experiences, that's what gives them their opinion, is what they've gone through in life. How they've perceptualized reality, right? Now that's completely different to you. So what good is it listening to what they've got to say? Now, the only people, in my opinion, that are worth listening to in this aspect, their guidance and mentorship, is people who have been where you're at already, who are on that same path, further along the path. Now that's worth listening to. But even then, not in a, you know, like a certain sense, but in more of a guidance. So don't go on everything being their gospel word. Just have pointers from them. I've had a mentor, if you like, in the past, and he took me to X place, but he couldn't take me any further because we sort of diverged into different directions. And that's just like part of natural growth, right? Just people go different ways. You'll have noticed it in your friendship circles and everything else. And that's what happens with people, with mentors, with guides. So their opinion's worthwhile listening to as a pointer, but not as a set in stone. And social media is a good playground for that, because there's never been that interconnectedness and that many people thinking that their opinion actually means something when it clearly doesn't. So if you want to put yourself in that arena, like what I'm doing here, you'll get people who suffer from tall poppy syndrome, so their opinions will naturally try and drag you down. And most people are negative because they don't like to see people sort of pushing ahead. So when that happens, you'll naturally get people trying to be passive aggressive or writing some bullshit comment on there. So if you want to get in the game and in the playground, just put yourself out on social media and you'll get opinions. Your family will have opinions and your friends will have opinions. Your circle of friendship will change. The people that want to do business with you will change, usually for the better, by the way, because the people who are really going after it in life and have a specific, well, a certain worldview on progress, on winning, on success, they appreciate anyone who's actually just trying to have a go. Even if they're failing, it doesn't matter because they're having a go. They notice that forward motion, forward movement towards something better. So winners hang around with winners, and then they naturally are more positive towards them. If social media is a great place to put this out because your new tribe will find you. I've noticed already just doing this, I only started at early January, and I've had people emailing me and messaging me asking for assistance and guidance and help, and I've done business with one of the guys who've reached out. So, you know, if you want to overcome that natural instinct of fearing other people's opinion, put yourself out there as much as you can. Give as much as you can, because you will inevitably get back a load of stuff from people, negative stuff, positive stuff. The positive stuff is as useless in a sense as the negative stuff. It just makes you feel a bit different. But most people's opinion, as I said earlier, is completely worthless. But the positive opinions of people who have been where you're at and are already where you want to get to, one of the stages on your journey, they're the people that you can listen to. Put yourself out on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, do all these things. Share your ideas on life, put your business out there and share what you're doing. But if you don't want to get ahead in life, don't share anything. Don't become anything. Don't do anything, because then people won't have an opinion. But if you just try and get ahead in life, you always will have that. You can't escape it. Here's a little exercise you can do as well. Just write down in your big life events, the ones that have made major impacts in your life, good and the bad. Notice the people who have come and gone during those periods, because generally speaking, it's through the loss of people, ideas, worldviews, business associates, loss of money, loss of objects. It's through the loss of these things that we actually get the most gain. So as people are giving you all these opinions that you think are valuable and whatever else, or you just you think they've got any worth to them, which they don't as a rule, notice how it's usually the loss of these people, the loss of these ideas, that actually give you the biggest gain, which is a mindset shift for most people, because they think everything's always adding on to them. It's an additive process, when the reality is it's more of a reductive process. It's just a mindset shift, something that it only becomes apparent when you sort of contemplate on it a little bit, rather than just going through the motions. When you sort of recognise that none of these opinions that you're listening to have any real value, none of the people that are giving you have, they're living their own life, and generally speaking, it's just their conditioning unloading on you. It doesn't mean anything. The only person that you need to really hold to the standard that you want to hit is you, because you live to their standards, you're going to be depressed, anxious, and all that crap. If you live to society standards, the same. You just have to live to yourself. Where are you going? Where have you been? What's your conditioning? What conditioning can you rewire to create an abundant and positive state? And that isn't woo-woo. That's just like, if you want to get ahead, if you want to put your head above the parapet, you've just got to undo the conditioning that everybody else has got, which unfortunately, that's just a reality. It's how society functions. It's how culture works. So as soon as you put your head above that parapet, people are naturally going to shoot at you. It's not because they're nasty people, it's just because they're wired that way. And once you have compassion and empathy for that, it's just, well, you just get on with it and sort of use that as fuel. So, okay, I'm going in the right direction here. There's a book, I think, called Go For No, which talks about it as well. It's a good sales book. So yeah, Goop, the good opinion of other people. Take it with a pinch of salt. Use it if you want to use it, if it's positive and reaffirming positive patterns. But know that pretty much 99.9% of people's opinions are pretty worthless.